And for some of these, I'll also show you some new shortcuts.
Calm down, bro. You get your
Yeah, okay. We need to point out dots.
So on this graph, it says which linear relation is represented by the following graph. So we have a graph, and from this graph, we can make our table of values. Remember, this is always your x coordinate, this is your y coordinate. So each of these points, we can label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This point is 0, minus 7. This point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. And 1, 2, 3. So going to the right is positive numbers. Going to the left would be negative numbers. Going up from 0, 0, this is called your origin right here, 0, 0. Going up is positive. Going down is negative. And we always, when we're writing a point, we always write the x coordinate first, and then the y coordinate second. So what I'm going to do here to start off with is I'm just going to label all of the dots that are labeled. So here I label the x, I go over to the right 3 and down 1, so I'd write 3 first and then minus 1 second. This dot, I go over to the right 4 and up 1, so I do 4, 1, and final dot, over to the right 5 and up 3, 5, 3. So my table of values has these points. 0 and minus 7, that's the first point. 1 and minus 5. 2 and minus 3. 3 and minus 1. 4 and 1. 5 and 3. And the reason the table of values is really helpful is because that is what we use to create equations when we were doing our patterns. Do you notice the jump here?
It's 2 for 2 for 2 for 2 for 2 for 2.
Exactly. Always going up by 2.
Do we have to create a table on the test and show it right now?
You don't, you have to circle the right answer on the multiple choice. I'm not on a multiple choice, right? The work that you show doesn't actually matter per se, but you have to know how to figure this out. So this is the main way that we did so far. Once you figured out that pattern, we figured out that our equation was always going to be, the y value is always going to equal 2 times the x value because of this jump by 2. And then we're going to check how close is this to working. Like if I do, I'm going to pick one of them, and often I like to pick one with positive numbers. I circled that one. If you did 2 times 4, what do you get? 8. What do we want to get? 1. What would you have to do to 8? You'd have to minus 7. So that's what we did to create our equation so far. Okay? We looked at how much you were adding each time. That was how much you multiplied x by. Do any of these match? Yes. 2x minus 7 matches up with D. Now, as you go into grade 10 pre-calculus and grade 10 essentials, you will learn that lines have the following form.
Yeah.
Just wait. Let me explain the whole question, then I'll answer some questions after. And this can be a shortcut. This y equals mx plus b. The m stands for slope, and slope is the steepness of a line. It's always how much you go up and over the rise of 2, run of 1. It's always going to be your rise over your run. I'll even write those words down because you'll see that a lot in grade 10. And you notice that that slope, that was our jump, right? Because the y values jumped by 2 while they went up by 1 for your x values. And the other shortcut that's really helpful in this formula is that the b value is your y-intercept.
Wait, Mr. Chair.
And a y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Do you see that that's where it hit the y-axis? At -7. And so this is the hint that the b value has to be -7. And if you just knew that hint, you could have got the answer right away. Question.
What's the A over 1?
It's a 2/1.
Oh.
Because we have, if we look in between any 2 points, we've gone up 2 over 1. We've risen up 2 and went to the right 1. So that is what the slope is. What the steepness is, it's measured how much have you gone up and how much have you gone over. Okay, so pause the video. Which graph looks at this and says y equals x plus 6? Okay. A couple of things you can do. Anytime you have an equation, you can make a table of values. Anytime you have an equation, you can look at the shortcut. So if I was looking at the shortcut, I know that my b is always my y-intercept. And so my y-intercept in this case has to be 6. So I look which ones, whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. Which ones oh, look, it can't be C and D. I already know that my answer is going to be A or B using the shortcut. What can I do with my table of values? Well, I already know when x is 0, y is 6. That's my y-intercept. But if x is 1, look at the formula. If x is 1, what should y be? Because the formula says y is equal to x plus 6. So if I put 1 in for x, can you do the math? What is 1 plus 6? 7. So I need to point 1, 7. Does this one have 1, 7? No. Does this one have 1, 7? Yes. So now I didn't have to do much work on this one. I used a combination of the shortcut and my table of values.
Wait, can you explain how you got the 7?
So you have your formula is y equals x plus 6.
Yeah.
If I wanted to find another point, I could make my x 2. Now I look at my formula and say, well, if my x is 2, I would get 2 plus 6. What is 2 plus 6?
8.
8. So my y has to be 8. And if I check that one out, look at this. 2, 8 matches up. 3 points in a row that match up on that graph. If we kept going, like, do you see on this graph, you have x is 4, the y is 10. I have the point 4, 10. Does it match up with the equation? When you plug a 4 in for x, do you get 10 for y?
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense.
So in mathematics, we now start to see that you can write the same thing in different ways. Technically, this equation of this line is the same as the actual line, is the same as the table of values. All three things mean the same thing, but all three things are just written slightly different.
Mr. Chair, I didn't do sleep, I just messed up.
It was underneath my stuff and I grabbed it.
Do we do discussion?
Okay, I'll give you some time again to write some stuff on your cheat sheet after this one. That shortcut is actually really, really helpful, isn't it?
What did the purple word say? I can't remember.
The purple word says y-intercept. This one's just shortened. Here, I'll write it out nicely right here, because I've written it a couple times. Y-intercept. Okay, sorry, I skipped number 2. Here's number 2. Which table of values makes this work? Okay? So maybe you make your own table of values off to the side and say, okay, they have zeros, 1, 2s, 3s. So I'm going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When x is 0, look at the formula. You would, when x is 0, that's like saying in the formula, I plug in 0 for the x. And I have to figure out what y is. Y is equal to 2 times 0. So I should get 0, 0. I right away know this one is not right because this one has 0 and 4. And I need 0 and 0. That doesn't mean for sure that D is right because some of them didn't include 0. With the table of values, you get to pick which numbers you want to include. The only one I can say for sure is wrong is A, because if you plug in 0, you should get 0. If I plug in 1, the formula says it's 2 times x. If the x is 1, my formula says the y value should be 2 times 1. What should it be? 2. So now, which ones have, oh, I can cancel this one out. This one's bad. Because this one said when you plug in 1, you should get 4. But when I plugged in 1, I got 2. Okay, I got canceled out 2 of them.
It's in D.
I don't know yet. I have to figure this out.
Pretty sure it's D.
Okay.
It's gonna be interesting. Next, if I plug in 2, it's 2 times x, so it should be 2 times 2. What happens when you plug in 2? You should get 4. This is gonna be an interesting question. Because we're gonna find out that they're all bad. This one's bad. Because when you plug in 2, it said it gets 2. It's not true. When you plug in 2, you should get 4. When I plug in 3, my formula says my y value should be 2 times 3. What's 2 times 3? 6. So this one should be 6. This is good, but these are bad. None of these work.
So did you make a mistake on mine?
I got this question actually from a test generator program, and the program made a mistake. There's no answer that's right. But this is how you make your table of values. Yes.
Maybe don't trust that program.
I know, I shouldn't trust that one.
In
Although
the
you
test-
should say, my policy is if I make a quiz or a test and a question like this happens, where there's a mistake in the question. If there's a mistake in a question, my policy is I give everybody 100% on that question.
You should actually use that.
So you want me to use this
Use
question?
the entire thing.
I should do this question again, right?
Yeah.
Because if there's no right answer, then definitely, okay?
But that only
Or
goes-
maybe I'll use these same numbers, but I'll change the equation
Yeah.
to make sure the equation works.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea.
Or maybe just like totally trust that program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
¿Y por qué puso esa de verde y la demás de otro color?
I just like to use different colors.
No, pero
Más
¿por qué,
bonito.
por qué esa, la A verde?
I just was using green.
¿Por
Does
qué
it bug
la
you?
más
Here we go.
cercana?
Here we go. Here we go. Right now it's in black. So none of these work. That's how we use a table of values. So on your cheat sheet, do you know how to, if you have the equation, right? Do you have on your cheat sheet, if I have an equation, this is how I make a table of values. Here's an example. y equals 2x, I showed my work, and then I can create my table of values. Or is that just something that you know?
That was case 12.
Okay, question number 4. They have the table of values. The table of values always represent a point, so I'm going to write each of these as points.
No.
And if we label these points on the graph, 0, 4 is right here. So this one's bad. This one is good. This one is bad. Oh my goodness.
And I have to break
Just
it
that first point is enough to tell us we know the answer needs to be C. Right? Because this is how I would label 0, 4. This point, the x is 1. I go 1 to the right and 3 up. 1, 3. This one is 2, 2. And this one is 4, 0. So we can take the table of values and look at the points, and all 4 of those points match up on graph number C. So the answer would be C. So you need to be able to switch between, table of values, points, lines. If I look at this, if I look at the shortcut, y equals mx plus b. What's the equation of this line? The equation of this line is, well, what is our jump? Going down 1 or going down 1. If you look at the table of values, do you see that the next jump is down 2? But do you see that they skipped 3? So our equation here, if you look, you go over 1, down 1, your slope is always the rise over the run,
I'm just feeling
and our run is 1 to the right, so that I'm going to write as +1 because we're going to the right. Our rise is going down 1, because if you start from one point and go 1 to the right, and then I'm going down 1, that's -1. So my equation for this one would be y equals -1x, and my b values, my y-intercept, is +4. And if you check out the formula, plug in 2. What's 2 times -1? -2. What would I have to do to get to +2? I would have to add 4. So again, this is just a review of how you can, I can just give you one thing. I can give you the line, then you can make table of values, points, and equation. I can give you equation, then you can draw the graph, table of values, and points. I can give you points, you can draw the graph, and make the equation. I can give you any one of those 4 things, and you can find all the other ones. That's what your cheat sheet needs to show.
In a test, would we also have to label the y-axis, like the points?
If you're asked to graph something, then yes, you would all label everything as best as you can, as clearly as you can.
What? No.
These are tables. They're in the shape of a pentagon, which has 5 sides. Sometimes they put 2 tables together, sometimes they put 3 tables together. Okay?
Yeah.
If we take the picture,
It gives me in black.
we can make a table of values.
Color.
We've got table 1, 2, 3. How many people can sit at table 1? 5 people. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. So if we go number of seats, there's 5. When you stick 2 tables together, how many people can sit?
9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's hilarious. And 3 tables. How many people?
11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do you notice a pattern here?
Up by 3s.
Up by 3s. If we notice that pattern, what does that tell us about the number of seats? Is going to equal 3 times the tables, but we usually make this x and this y, so this will be y is equal to 3x. Now does it work? What happens if I pick one of these? Tell me a number, 1, 2, or 3, which one should we check?
3.
2. Someone said 2 first. If I check the 2, what is 3 times 2?
6.
And I need it to equal 8, what would I need to do to my formula to get
Plus
the 8?
2.
Plus 2. Plus 2. Is there any of these that looks like 3x plus 2?
Yeah.
Where's all of them?
So again,
Did he?
how would you write down this on your cheat sheet if you had something similar? What would you tell yourself? Make your table of values. Whatever is in here is your x values, whatever's in there is your y values.
What is
Find out what
copy
you're
like?
jumping by.
Big cheat sheet.
Kinda helps you regulate mine.
Number 6. Which table of values can be used to represent, oh, we did this already, right?
No.
We kind of did this in, because it's still the same, because we're gonna use those tables here, right? We're using these tables to answer all of these questions, so we've already done this. And so we can circle that we know it's 8, so we don't have to spend.
Estudiar. ¿Cómo se dice E en español?
Table?
No, E. En
La A?
A.
ABCD. Okay. Which statement describes this relationship? The number of people at each table is 2 more than 3 times the number of tables. Okay, again, we should take that equation we came up with. We came up with this equation, which said that the number of seats was 2 times the number of tables plus 3. The number of people at each table, the number of seats, is 2 more than 3 times, no. It's 3 more than 2 times, so I'm gonna put an X through that one. 3 more than 2 times, I like that one. 4 times, no, we had no 4 times. 5 times, no, it's going to be B. So notice that we did a really good job when we did number 5, and then the rest of these questions became easy.
Estudiar. ¿Y cómo puedo saber en la respuesta?
Because we have the formula, okay? The S was number of seats or number of people. This says 2 times number of tables
The
plus
numbers-
3.
The numbers should be switched.
Mr. JR, can you explain number 6 again?
Number 6, we did this when we did number 5. Whoops. When we did number 5, we made it.
It's 3x plus 2, not 2x plus 3.
Hand them all.
3x plus 2. Did I write it down wrong here?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I rewrote it wrong. Oh! Thank you for noticing. It was 3x plus 2, which means that it is
Not B.
A, not B. I copied it down wrong from one page to the other. Oh. Do you hate when you do that? Do you ever do that? Okay. So now I'm going to get you to do 8 and 9 on your own. And I'll put the answers up in a second. Check your answers.
I believe there's something wrong with number 8.
It's not the giant dad.
So, Here we go. We've got figure number
You know.
Figure number
Yeah,
one,
that's
two,
okay.
three,
flows.
and figure
That's
one has
actually
a length of
basic.
2.
Oh my god.
Oh, each line segment is 3 long.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was alive because my
hubris.
grandma wasn't there. And children and men. He was just like, was it
So we have to read the question carefully. It says each line segment is 3 units long. So figure one, this would
So
be
you're looking
3
at
plus
this
3. Do you see that its length would be 6? This next one is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Its length is 12. And this one would be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Its length is 18. So if we're looking at a pattern, we're going up by 6 each time. So my formula is going to be the length is equal to 6 times the figure. Does it work out perfectly? It does. So the length is 6 times the figure number. The answer is D. We didn't have to add anything. What's the formula? We already wrote that out. The answer is B.
How do we know the answer is D?
How do we know the answer is D? The length, that's the L,
Yeah.
equals 6 times figure, 6 times F. So we have to also be able to read in English what an equation is.
Can you explain number 7?
Length equals 6 times F.
Can you explain number 7?
Number 7 was last question from before.
What?
7 is from the previous.
Huh? I'm gonna-
Okay.
Mr.
Probably Spanish.
Assume that this graph shows air pressure at different altitudes.
You're so
Oh shit.
cute.
Use this graph to answer these questions. According to the graph, the approximate altitude where the air pressure is 40. So we're going to show our work. I'm going to underline this. Air pressure is 40. Is air pressure on the Y or on the X? Air pressure is on the X. So I go to 40, and from 40 I go up until I hit the line, which I hit it right here. Then, if I go to my Y,
Super Meat Boy.
Yes.
what number do you think you could use for
I don't
this?
think that's like in my religion or something.
48, and it's times 100, 4,800 meters.
But when I'm sorry, but I can't do it.
Because it says the altitude is times 100 meters. That's a little tricky.
You know.
So the number matches up with 48, but I read the scale here and it says my altitude is times 100, so I'd have to write 4,800 meters. Next, I'll do this one in blue. It tells me the altitude is 3,000 meters. On here, 3,000 is 30 times 100. That's right here. I go over. Dot, 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 dot. This is the work I'm going to expect on your test. That you show this and down. That looks like 62. Include my units. Goodbye. That's my land for today.